take it from this would be the absolute funniest way to die, please.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was reading about fatal insomnia and I just can you imagine how funny that would be? Like especially if you could get I don't know. I was asking my coworkers to start documenting my behavior. I was like, you got to monetize this. You got, I don't know, a blog, a vlog, a podcast, something. You got to be watching my behavior so that when I die, because I was too sleepy, you've got, I don't know, receipts. Make a documentary. I don't know.
Is that the thing that happens to like, because you know how occasionally like a kid in South Korea will die from playing video games for like 72 hours straight or
No.
something? Is that a fatal insomnia thing? Like, I know it wouldn't be insomnia technically, but it would be just like staying awake for too long.
Would that also be a mixture of the energy drinks that they are consuming?
That would be more my
That would
Yeah,
be
that's
my
probably a good
concern.
point. Energy drinks, not probably
Mixture?
standing up for a period of time is probably bad for your
Yeah,
circuit.
that's
Like,
not
yeah.
good.
come to think of it, you probably are like
There's a
risking
lot of things
aneurysm
not
and all
good.
kinds of things that are just real
Yeah.
Right.
dicey, real
Especially
dicey.
like what game are they playing? Because I bet it's not like calming, you know? Like I don't
I
think
don't
that they're
know.
playing
There are times
oh
when I'm like playing Stardew Valley for like I haven't in
72
like a
hours.
year, but there were long stretches, and I'd be like, I can't go to sleep. I got to make sure that because you're on a clock, and never mind.
Yeah, but you got you're
I'm gonna go
growing
too far into
crops.
this.
You're trying to seduce somebody because
Mhm.
there's some cute someone in town, and you've been working on them. Every time you bring
Yeah.
some
Oh.
beets to sell, you're like, hey, we've
Mhm.
got something in common.
Sorry, is this what Stardew Valley is? It's like a romancing the other character.
Well, it is very much like we were talking about, where it begins with you hating your job at a computer in an office, and
Sure.
then someone
Yeah.
gifts you a farm, and then you try to make a farm, and then you can
Mm.
romance one of the dateable characters
Mhm.
in it.
Yeah.
And this is a new category, like non-playable character, but it's dateable character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a common video game trope, or
Yeah,
is
and I
this
think
unique
in
to
Baldur's
Stardew
Gate
Valley?
3, I assume the other Baldur's Gates, but I've been watching a lot about Baldur's Gate 3. Everyone's been like, this is a lot of seducing.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, you can fuck everybody from the
Yeah,
sounds
that's
You
of
what I
it.
can
hear.
actually fuck.
Yeah.
I actually
Okay.
quite a few games like Cyberpunk 2077. You can fuck in that game.
Ah,
They're like
but is it
that makes sense.
off screen, or are you like
no,
Ju-
no. It's there's
Press
cutscenes.
now.
Like
press
there
A
are.
to
I think
thrust?
you get to choose how you look naked. And
Oh,
am
Yeah.
I making that up, or was it just somebody blurted out for a joke? I believe too many things,
hard to
guys.
know.
I believe too many things. I should not be allowed on the internet. Oh, bad.
No, it's in
Listeners, write in.
Cyberpunk. In Cyberpunk, you have a genitalia option. Like you get to
Okay.
pick like your penis size, whether it's
Okay.
circumcised, etc.
Hmm.
You can
Ornaments?
pick the
Can you
type of
have
vagina you
piercings?
like. I don't think so. I don't think there
Okay,
is actually any
discriminatory.
piercing stuff. I know. It's I mean, come on, it's 2023. We need to start updating these games.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole dating thing became kind of popular in games around, I'm gonna say like 2002, maybe. It
Okay.
was somewhere in
Oh.
that range because there was a game called Fable that came out on the original
Hmm.
Xbox that was like this groundbreaking role-playing game that had a karma system. So the things that you did actually affected how other characters in the game interacted with you, in as
Oh,
much as
fun.
like you could become so good that you walk into town and literally like everybody's falling over themselves to say hello to you, and you can become
Oh.
so evil that everyone runs away from you, and even some enemies are just like, hey, what's up? You know,
Everything about
instead of
that.
fighting you. And that game had like a seduction and marriage system that was just
Oh.
like you could just marry
Mm.
somebody in a town and you would go back, and as long as you kept visiting, it also had a time clock in it. So as
Mm.
long as you visited frequently enough and brought gifts and did some sort of date activity, that person would remain married to you. But if you missed an opportunity to do that, they would
They left
eventually
you.
just turn their back on you, kind of thing.
Sure. Then you
And then
have
The
to
Sims was big
court.
on dating. Like
Oh, Sims.
that was
Yeah.
the thing where you got, hot tub and fake moaning sounds and things.
They had blurred out
Huh.
things, right? Am I?
Yeah, they had blurred
Yeah.
out things. But then like the Witcher, which is a game made by the same company that made Cyberpunk,
Mhm.
basically was like, hey, you can like, there's 5 women in this game or whatever. You play a dude by proxy. You can have sex with any of these women. And they all have like softcore cutscenes that, you know, you don't see penetration or anything, but you definitely see a lot of boob and ass and moaning and things like that. And that is the same in Cyberpunk, surprisingly enough, or unsurprisingly enough. But in Cyberpunk, you can be with whomever you would like, because it, you know, the character creation allows for a trans element even if you wanted to.
I remember that because people lost their shit. I think that I'm missing a component here. Are these people that you're seducing and / or fucking other players, or are they the computer?
They're NPCs.
Okay.
Yeah, just the computer. Okay. Yeah.
We're going to get to the intro, but I have one more thing I got to say. Did you guys read that article? This was a couple years ago now, about the woman who was studying dolphins, and the dolphins were getting so horny and disrupting her work. She was like, I'm just going to masturbate them. Like, no, girly, get him out.
Was
toy or something. I don't know. A blow up dolphin.
Classic King of the Hill episode where a dolphin tries to have sex with Hank Hill and it traumatizes him.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they do that. They do that.
They're social.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're showing dominance in the way that they know how.
Yeah.
We just don't like it.
It's like if you weren't good at walking and then a Saint Bernard started to hump you, right?
What?
Similarly,
Can you?
Because what I'm saying is that dolphins have a distinctive advantage in the water as compared to a person, right? So like, because like we've all been humped by a dog at one point or another, right?
That's true.
And it's like annoying, but you have context for what it is and it's not as bothersome. Whereas if you're in the water and an animal that is all muscle and designed for the water is going after you and you're like, I'm out of my element and it's doing its thing. Yeah. It's a different, plus, I mean, they're also like human size. So I guess it would be like if a bear humped you.
Oh my God.
If it was that Revenant movie with
Leonardo
DiCaprio,
just more scary things.
But like different, but like a different.
but like different, but like underwater.
What if you found out that that's what you were into? What if a dolphin attacked you and you were like, uh-oh.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
I learned something about myself. Oh, I guess furries. No, they're not always sexual.
Yeah, no.
That could just be.
But you can find your niche.
It's just like a Troy McClure thing.
Niche.
Yeah. Well, ahoy, listeners!
Ahoy, water! Oh, dolphins!
Oh, God.
Ahoy, yeah, boats! Ahoy! This is Debut Buddies.
Stay on the boat. Stay on the boat.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, no.
Wait, truly.
This is a fortnightly podcast about firsts. I am Nate, and I am one of the buddies.
I'm Kelly, and I'm another buddy.
I'm Chelsea. I'm the third buddy.
Yeah.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about what I can only assume is a subplot in Patrick Swayze's storyline from the movie Ghost. We're going to be talking about the first ghost testimony. Patrick Swayze's murdered in that movie, I'm pretty sure. So surely he's like, hey, Whoopi Goldberg, help me tell my story to people.
Spoiler.
Or I'm gonna
spoiler.
We'll make a pot together that's in the shape of my murder, so that Demi Moore can move on, etc.
Little crime scene diorama.
Yeah, honestly, that would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Like, come on, you're gonna ghost fuck at a
just be
potting
like,
wheel.
This is where they were standing.
I also think that's a great date idea.
No,
making a crime scene
dioramas
together.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, it's going to tell you more immediately from the get than asking any number of questions ever would on a date, too.
Yeah. First of all, like, hi, I'd really like to take you out on Friday. I was thinking we could make a diorama of a horrific crime scene. What are your thoughts on that?
Sold.
Yeah, see, Chelsea and I are compatible.
Yeah, sold.
Right? Mm-hmm. And if you're picking, are you picking from like a book? Is it like a karaoke bar where it's like, well, here's the crime scenes. Which one do you want to make? Or is it like, hey, make your own? And then if somebody wants to make their own, you got yourself a little extra layer of answer.
Ooh.
That's true. Yeah, I think you have to leave it open-ended. see what they choose, because I was thinking the book is all of history and you get to pick one, but I like this
Oh.
idea of what happens if they have a fantasy that they want to put on paper.
Yeah,
Really, that's good information to have for sure.
And then you
Yeah.
see a little stick figure of yourself
Oh no.
being drowned in a bathtub somewhere. I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I already made one. Check it out.
Yeah, yeah.
What? You
I brought
bought
my
it?
own.
Oh.
I guess put in a lot of effort. That's great. That's good.
It's-
Green flag. Green flag.
Oh, overachiever.
But that's as bad as like, I mean, that's bad date practice regardless of what it is. You don't want to show up to the like sip and paint with your own
With
painting,
your
right?
painting.
Nor do you want to show up to a restaurant with your own meal. Like these are all bad behaviors
What?
that do not necessarily, like, they all are markers of a murderer regardless of the circumstance.
Yeah.
So what if you showed up to one of those painting ones and you're like painting, but you're like, you can't see it. You can't see it. And then he like sneaks it in and puts it. And then you're like, and then he turns around, like he researches what it's going to be beforehand. So creates a perfect painting. Whew.
Yeah.
That's extremely terrifying.
I say
isn't
he, a she could do it. I don't want to, or they, I don't want
it?
to be
That's
specific
true.
to anybody.
That's true.
Yeah. Anybody could do it. Anyone.
But yeah, it's like,
That's
oh yeah,
right.
I figured out that there was going to be a moon with a tree in front of it in advance, so I'm going to paint that real well. actual sip and paint thing that I did once.
He's like, come back to my place. And then you see in the corner, there's just a bunch of broken canvases with trees on it with moons. And you're like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't look at my shame,
Why did you leave it out?
because I have to be reminded of my shame.
But you knew I was coming over.
I actually never thought I could close the deal.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought after the painting what I was going to do. And once you saw the painting, but then after that, I just went blank. I don't know.
Yeah,
Man, these are a couple other red flags. Low self-esteem, no
damn.
foresight.
yeah.
This is gonna work.
Damn.
Leaving
Work.
masturbatorial materials in plain sight. All
No.
problematic. Are you jerking off
Oh,
to those
boy.
moons? Yeah.
Why do they look like boobs?
The better question is, why doesn't the real moon look more like a boob? That's what I want to say.
Let's ask the scientists.
I'll tag Hank Green.
All right, we gotta talk about this ghost testimony, because look, listeners, I'm gonna be on Front Street. I told both Chelsea and Kelly that I did zero research, or I did one research, which is not enough for me to count it as anything. So I'm here to listen for the most part, and potentially do something I never do, which is keep us on track.
Oh, nice.
Oh, whoa, you're not crushing it so far.
Yeah. Well, look. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna use a little middle-aged white guy speak and say,
Okay.
like, well, I'm keeping us on an entertaining track. It doesn't
Oh,
all
I see.
have to
Oh,
flow
okay.
exactly down the narrative we're
Gotcha.
going with, as long as people enjoy it. Yeah,
That's
because this is all
valuable.
intentional. Because I'm in control of
This makes sense.
Well, I think we also, I think Chelsea and I ended up researching different ghost
Different
testimonies.
stories.
Oh, I love this.
So,
Oh my god, I love this so much. Okay, I mean, this is gonna be a 5 for me already. I know it. It's all over. It's a 5. Here's what we're gonna do. End of the show. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna become a ghost.
Okay.
I'm gonna testify. 5
Oh,
deaths.
yay.
sounds great.
I'll take
I'll
it to
do
court.
the same.
Yeah.
Good.
All
Okay.
together. Our first
yeah.
suicide pact is what we just got
Our
from this
first
episode.
Hey! and our first
God.
last episode of Debut Buddies.
No, we'll come back as ghosts. First episode is
That's
ghosts.
fair. We do have some unfinished business,
Oh,
mostly
for
involving turnips.
Sure. Mhm.
Shit, that is still in the fridge. Okay. Chelsea, I think that you did the one that we talked about doing.
Yes, I did the
That
Greenbriar
I
ghost.
Forgot.
I can
Okay.
start, or would you like to start?
I
Yours may be
wanna-
the first because it's earlier.
It is earlier, but yours is the more famous one. I like went to Google it and was like, "Oh,
Okay, you guys,
Yeah.
let me talk about my sources this time. I have them, and by I have them, I mean I'm gonna say a bunch of other podcasts. I'm sorry. I had a bunch of things to clean this weekend, including a dishwasher. So I listened to a lot of podcasts. I did listen to the Morbid episode on it, and then I listened to part of The Dollop, and I listened to...
I'm like Gary this episode.
I also watched a Drunk History episode on it, which was not very informative, shockingly.
Well, it's funny because sometimes like Drunk History is really informative.
Yeah. I've learned a decent amount about stuff I had no idea about.
Yeah. Other times they're just like immediately so intoxicated that they can't even get through the first two sentences on whatever script they've been handed. It's great.
Yeah. And it wasn't terrible. If I had not researched it prior, I might have enjoyed it. If it was a brand new story to me, might have been like, oh, this is great. But because I had researched it, I was like, they're leaving out all the fun parts.
No.
So, fun parts left out on that one. There was, and then I also, the regular Wikipedia, and then I looked at one online story. From West Virginia Haunts and Legends.
Ooh.
I read the story for the Greenbriar Ghost there.
Wait, where? Haunts and Legends?
That was the name of the website.
But I missed the
West Virginia.
Word. West Virginia. Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, West Virginia Haunts and Legends.
Where you're going to see a certain man soon.
Shaped like a famous bug you might see around your lamp. Yes. Yeah.
What?
Mothman.
So I also found out recently that moths are pollinators. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, protect the moths. Love the
They're
moths.
great. They're cute.
Yeah.
Lots of moths are really neat looking.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, so the Greenbriar Ghost. What happened was, I'm sorry, I'm not the storyteller. Kelly's the storyteller. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so we're going to start with... So Elva Zona Histershoe is the main character in this. Technically, the ghost. Sorry, spoiler. Her name, she goes by Zona. And it's a very nice name. I like it a lot too. I think Zona is a great name.
Also, I think we should zone for ghosts. It now makes me think we should just zone for ghosts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is a ghost zone. We're in a ghost area.
Sorry, it sounds like you're talking about rounding up all the ghosts.
No. I'm talking about allocating some sort of like building
protected
code
area
so that ghosts have facility. Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay,
like residential, commercial, ghost.
Oh, so we can have ghost.
So ghost area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I want places where people can get their sheets washed. They can get their chains oiled.
Okay, that's a little bit better. I don't know why I thought this was going to be really racist. Sheets washed.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried.
Yeah, no, I probably shouldn't have started.
I'm in Arkansas, so I'm a little worried. Anyway, so we're talking about Zona, and young girl, meets this blacksmith. You know how we love talking about them blacksmiths.
Now who's racist?
Aramis.
Okay.
Aramis Stribling Trout Shoe.
Them blacksmith.
So we've got Aramis Stribling Trout Shoe. Elva Zona Heiser was her name prior to marriage, and then she ended up marrying Aramis. But he goes by Edward, I think. So Edward is how I will refer to him going forward. But she ended up like meeting him. He was kind of like, he moved into town and he got a job with James Cruikshank, who was his boss. And he had like a sordid past, and he was running kind of from the law. Like he stole a horse at some point. Also, he had wives that mysteriously died. Weird. And at one point he like got married to somebody who was, I think, very young, and she ended up, they had a small child, an infant, and he kicked them both out of the house. Like he was incredibly abusive after they got married, and then he kicks them both out of the house with nowhere to go. But that's the most I remember about that one. So Zona went and would go to the blacksmith and do their regular, like, what do you go to the blacksmith for? We've talked about blacksmiths a lot. What do you do?
You could get nails. You could get your horses shoed. They probably would make horseshoes.
I knew that one. I got that one.
Captured.
See, okay, good.
Yeah.
I know not enough about blacksmiths.
Gonna make old ladies younger, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
If-
we
if
have
you
a
know what you're
good
doing.
grasp. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So Zona would go, she went and met him and she was like, he's pretty foxy. So she left. And then the family met him and they were like, we do not like him.
Oh no.
And she was
bad
like,
vibes.
but I do. So family bye. I'm gonna go hang out with this Edward dude.
She
So
was
her
like taken by his broad blacksmithing shoulders.
yeah, that's probably what it
Yeah,
was.
he
They
just
said
had
he's
like
pretty
strong forearms, and she was like,
handsome.
"My heavens!"
I think, did I make up that he was handsome? I don't think I read that. I just assumed, because if she was willing to excommunicate her, like to leave her family and never speak to them again, because it sounds like her family's pretty all right based on everything else, but she was willing to completely leave them for this guy.
Well, you said she was young.
She was young.
Are we talking
he
like
was
rebellious teen young?
no, he was
Okay.
35, and I think she was like early 20s. So not
Honestly.
too bad. Not too bad. Yeah,
He's
not too
mysterious.
bad.
He's clearly like, he feels like he can't get into heaven, but he can't get into hell
Mhm.
either. It's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
I want to take a ride with this guy. Where's he going?
But I think his mischief is a little more violent, I would say, than our good Stingy Jacks.
Yeah.
So one day Edward is working and he is talking to a kid who is in the area, and he's like, hey, could you run home and ask my wife if she wants anything from the market? So he runs to their house and opens the door, and little Zona is just on the ground, face down at the bottom of the stairs, not looking great.
no.
So this kid runs back and he's like, hey, she has something's bad. And then they got Dr. Knapp, who will be a prominent player in the story as we go on, comes in to go check her. And then when he gets home, Edward had already dressed her, bathed her, took her upstairs, dressed her in a really stiff-necked dress, and put a veil over her. And
Whoa.
anytime Dr. Knapp went up to try to figure out what was going on, he would freak out. He would just freak out, and he'd be like, no, my wife. And he would like freak out and start crying and start screaming about her. And then he was like, okay, I'll leave her alone.
Oh, like
Terrible
what?
at his job.
Demonstrative grief or like
Yeah.
rage?
He would
okay,
do
okay.
demonstrative grief. So he would be like, no, you don't go near her. I'm so sad. Which, meh.
It's
But this
always
guy's a
like-
doctor?
This guy's a doctor, bad doctor, terrible doctor.
Sure. Yeah.
I will continue. It only gets worse. So he said she has, oh my God, I didn't write down this word. It's like the long faint, the silent faint, the super faint. That's not it.
Wait.
The lasting faint.
Oh my God, that's what my ghost died of too.
Oh, the lasting
Whoa.
faint.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's just what you said women died of at the time.
Yeah. They said it
Yeah.
was primarily used for now what we would call heart attacks. So the lasting faint. And then
Okay.
he went back and he changed her cause of death to women problems. No.
Oh, sure. Hysteria.
Death during childbirth, because he had been seeing her
Oh.
for women problems, which was
Was she
what you
pregnant?
call people.
Did you say
She ended up not being pregnant, and that is found out later. So what ends up happening is that they bury her, and then and they say that she died because of childbirth and or the lasting faint. And so
At the bottom of the stairs?
yeah,
Sorry.
at the bottom of the stairs. Exactly.
Okay.
At the bottom of the stairs.
Okay.
And yeah, this doctor was not good. Was not even okay. I think anybody would have been like, oh, and this is where this gets to this part. This is a character, I forgot his name, but he is probably the prosecutor, or somebody, or a judge, or an investigator. Should have looked up that name. Sorry. I have names here, but he is not on it. But the mother ends up like going to this guy after this happens. So she will go into her daughter's bedroom to go to sleep, and she had been like wanting to be closer to her daughter after she passed. One night she wakes up and her daughter is there in the room with her. And she's basically like, yo.
That's
She's
how they
like,
talked then.
She's like,
But it has an E at the end.
she said like he's
Yo.
taking down yo. He has taken down my pretties. So she was saying he like took down all the like things that she had on the walls that she had put up for decoration and put them into a basket. And then she like described to her mom where to look for indications of what had happened. So she was like, look here for blood.
Cool.
Look here for my dress.
Whoa.
And she was like giving her a lot of indications of where to look for different things for what happened. And then this happened for a couple nights. She would see her daughter every night for a couple nights. And the last night, she was like, what happened basically to her? And she was like, my neck is broken. I was bleeding out my mouth. And she like twisted her head all the way around to show that her neck was completely disconnected.
She
High
exorcised?
quality special
Yeah,
effects.
she exorcised.
Yeah.
And
God damn.
she ended up, that was the last time the mother saw her. So the mother's name is Mary Jane, and she went to a
Last dance.
yeah, her last dance. And she went to her she went to the investigator and was like, yo, no, okay, I'm getting too ahead of myself. First, the mom was like, oh no, no one's gonna believe me. No one's gonna believe a thing I'm saying. So she went to her husband and she was like, look, I know this is not gonna sound great, but I saw our ghost daughter and she told me all of this stuff. And she expected her husband to be like, you're crazy. But instead he was like, yeah, 100% believe you. That man is terrible. And so he just completely, she told her son and her husband at the same time. And they were both fully supportive. And they were like, we should also tell the townspeople because I think that they will rally behind you. So then they went and also told them. And then they went to this detective and they were like, let's talk about this. And then
hypothetical.
And they were like, here's a ghost. And he was like, let me look at this file. And then he basically looked at what happened. He was like, yeah. I mean, everything I see on paper doesn't need a ghost. So we're going to go get that body and we're going to look at it. And then you're like, smart. Body buried, probably decomposed. It was winter.
Yes.
So that body is not decomposed.
It's a cold case.
Exactly.
Oh, but in the good way.
In the best way. So they dig the body out.
How long after her death?
That's cute that you think I looked up dates and time ranges.
What year are we talking right now? Just
late 1800s.
Late 1800s. Cool. Okay.
Like in the late 1890s. So they went and they dug up the body. Looked perfectly preserved. Had handprints on her neck.
Whoa!
So there were handprints on her neck, and whenever they checked it, she had been disconnected at 2 vertebrae, and whenever they pulled the collar off of her, her head just dropped like a bowling ball. Oh, so wow. And then she had described her whenever she was talking to her mom, she said that he had hurt me so bad that blood was coming out of my mouth. And then they found out that she had like smashed her windpipe, and they think it might have been like kicking her throat or putting a knee on her neck. Oh. Yeah, so it was a very, very violent death. And they found all this out and they were like, well, this was obviously a murder. So they brought in
how we missed
it. I don't know why we didn't bother to look the first time.
I don't know why we didn't check.
I guess we just kept believing the men who kept saying that there wasn't anything wrong.
Us. That's our bad.
So then
I'm so sad. No, don't touch her head.
Yeah, exactly. So and then he'd be like,
that's
yeah,
what he was doing. Oh,
it was when he got close to the head, he would be like, don't touch her. And then
okay,
he would like calm down and he would move away. And like, it's pretty ridiculous. And then they finally went to court. And this is the thing about the mom. They were like, could you just say it was a dream? Like your daughter came to you in a dream? And she was like, I am not going to lie. Oh, my daughter came to me in person. I'm not lying. And then she was like, I'm going to tell them what I said if they ask me what I said. And that's what happened. I'm going to tell them exactly what happened. So I was really impressed by I was like, you know what? Stand your ground. If you saw your daughter, you saw your daughter. And she gave you all the information about where the things were. They didn't end up finding the dress, but the box that he had put all of her stuff in, they found, or the basket they put all of her stuff in. And then like blood splatter, I think they found. So they found some things that she had pointed out from what her daughter had told her.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so they kind of didn't really ask much questions in the prosecution, but the defense came up and was like, you're crazy, you saw ghosts. And she was like, well, whatever. And then at some point he stood up and was like, I didn't do it, or you can't prove that I did it. And then everyone was like, dude, we already, God.
Yeah.
Really?
Sit down.
And then you're just like, okay, well, I mean, this was like an open shut case, and then you just had to throw that in there to like seal it completely.
You can't prove I did it. You didn't even find my strangling gloves. Whoops.
10 out of the jurors wanted to hang him, but they didn't get a unanimous jury, so he got sentenced to life. And
Nice.
then he ended up dying in 1900 of like a flu epidemic, I think, that went through the prison system. They did have a thing where there was a group that was hoping to go and to hang him, but then some farmers told on him and were like, hey, actually don't. They went and told the police that this was about to happen, so they couldn't do it because they didn't want other people to get hurt. They were like, we believe his sentencing was too lenient, but we don't want other people to get hurt in the crossfire. I was like, that's all right. That's all right.
Reasonable.
And those people founded Farmers Insurance. Bum,
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 bum. And that's the story of the first time maybe not the first, that a ghost testimony was entered into the record.
Yeah, I was thinking about it afterward. I was like, well, hold on. Like, the Salem witch trials had a lot of, like, quote unquote spectral evidence entered in.
Yeah.
So I was
But
like, wait a minute.
weren't the witch trials like all quote unquote good people ratting out other people? And they would claim spectral evidence, but it wasn't. I don't think anybody would. Well, I guess it would be like, my kid's possessed by this. Watch my stupid kid do crazy shit. See, he's possessed, and it's because she's doing it, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and there was also like, I think of it as like sympathetic possession, like people getting on the stand and like convulsing and being like, I learned it at the devil's meeting from Sarah, who's sitting over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
In the Morbid podcast, they did touch on that, where they were like, well, because of a rule that was put in during the Salem witch trials, they were able to use the testimony. But they had a whole thing with, you can't always be okay with it because you can't tell if the devil is impersonating someone that is good. So
yeah,
they said it was hard at that time to use that in the trials.
The number of hoops involved in this loop logic, right? That like, okay, so a ghost or a possessed person can testify, but you won't always know that the devil's telling the truth. So we probably have to murder half of the people who testify just to find out. But we'll also take what they say, and then we'll make our own judgment call about it.
Yeah, it was a choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because like this whole story sort of like the whole reason the ghost testimony even comes into play is because it's just like a dude listening to another dude and everybody else deferring to them. Like you're calling yourself a doctor and you like don't insist on checking out what's going on. Like I don't even understand how do you get that body out of there without the head falling off if it was that precarious? Like,
oh, he prepared her for burial. So normally the women.
Oh, so he just did like the parlor situation.
Yeah, the women in the town would normally prepare her for burial, but he wouldn't even let anybody go near her until she was buried in the ground.
Yeah.
So that I was like, I mean, this is red flag after red flag. Then this was like, I watched a TikTok earlier. I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't reading anything. But it was about the Dunning-Kruger effect. And it was talking about the guy who put the lemon juice all over his face because he didn't think he'd be caught by cameras when he robbed banks. And it was... There was a guy who robbed 2 banks. I don't know if it was in Utah. I don't remember where it was, but he robbed 2 banks, but he put lemon juice all over his face because somebody had told him once that if you do that, cameras can't see you. And he tried it, and then he used a Polaroid camera, and it didn't work right. And he thought it worked. So he, like, when he got arrested in the car, he kept being like, oh my God, but I put the lemon juice on my... Like, the cops could just hear him, like, exasperated, being like, but I put it on my face.
Was he aiming for an insanity plea?
No, I think he just completely believed it. And that's the Dunning-Kruger effect for being you're so stupid that you don't know you're stupid, that you have like so much confidence in what you're doing because you're not smart enough to know you're stupid. I think that's what Aramis Stripling Trout Shoe was. I think he had the Dunning-Kruger effect to where he was just like, and then people were like, no one could be that stupid, right? Like, no one could be that fucking stupid. And then you're like, oh, no. Yeah, I mean, they can be.
Yeah,
and they are. And we're seeing that a lot today, too. But that's beside the point.
Okay, here's my question about this, though. That little kid he sent to find his wife's corpse, what did he see? Just blood everywhere, crushed windpipe? Or what?
He just saw her laying down. They said her feet were together, and then she was laying face down at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh,
Mhm.
face down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she got placed there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, or yeah.
Oh, and then they found out that she wasn't pregnant when they brought the body back up, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, she didn't die of childbirth. She never had a baby." And
Just one of those classic, like,
just the assumption.
I could be wrong. My understanding of women dying in childbirth is usually like during the act of childbirth, not like thereafter sliding down the stairs and taking massive face and neck damage.
Right. Yeah, I think it's usually blood loss is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, brother. Yeah, so that kid also probably pretty traumatized, huh?
Oh, for sure. But I mean, back
shit.
then, how many dead bodies did you see? Like once every 4 or 5
Yeah,
weeks?
I guess just casually walking to work, you were like,
You're like,
ah,
oh,
another.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it this time? Yeah, Bill. R.I.P. Bill.
Or it could just be another of Edward's wives the next week. He apparently even was quoted as saying he wanted to have like an absurd number of wives. Not all at once.
Oh.
Right.
One after the other.
Sure. Yeah. So he's actively planning to dispose of them. Like that's part of his deal is that he's like, well, I gotta make room for that. He's a real.
We gotta make room for the next one.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's what they call them. Yep.
Yeah. Huh. Well, wait. When was Jack the Ripper? Are these guys like contemporary soul brothers?
Oh wow, yeah, they could be.
Is that right? When was he bopping around?
I feel like he wasn't. Jack the Ripper was 1800 somethings.
Was it? Oh,
1888. It was around the same time.
It was around the same time.
All right.
They were getting after it. So that means H.H. Holmes too.
Gross.
Yeah, it was all happening.
So many at the
It was
same
all
time.
happening.
Everybody saw this opportunity where they were like, "Oh yeah, dudes just kind of look the other way."
But
when
Jack
you
the
do
Ripper
stuff.
didn't get
Just
caught.
Kill women.
Yeah.
You're right.
How many people did that and they just all died of childbirth?
So many.
Ooh.
So many.
I'm glad we.
Yeah, I mean, I would legit buy that. Like, it's just women problems, as you quoted, like the doctor saying, like,
hysteria. Is
that
women
was a
problems?
cover for a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's like men doing all sorts of vile shit, whether they leave a living or a dead victim.
Yikes! I do.
Don't love it.
Yep.
Don't love it.
AMAB.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to?
All
hear
maps
about
are
another-
bastards. Wait,
Yeah.
no, man.
All
No.
maps.
Oh, did you mean men or murderers?
Nope, all together.
I was leaning
All
into
men.
men, but yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I've got another story about a dead woman after being abused. Yay!
Oh, thematic consistency.
Yeah.
They always come back as ghosts.
They always come back as
a
ghosts.
good point.
I hope to be treated well in my life, but I do hope to come back as a ghost sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
You guys got to say really mean things to me before I die, thanks.
Okay.
When I'm on my
think
deathbed,
probably-
just be really mean.
Chelsea, you know I always fucking hated your guts.
I'm just so sorry that you
fine.
didn't have time to do that episode of our podcast better.
You guys, I'm not dying right now. Jesus.
So you have to let us rehearse.
Yeah, we're just getting prepared. Otherwise, it won't be believable because we
Okay,
love you and
okay.
we'll never be able to actually do it.
Yeah, we have to
You
get
have to ramp
good
up.
at saying mean things without crying. Oh boy. Yeah, so this one was 1600s. I think 1673. Yes, 1673.
That's way before mine.
And it's also before the Salem witch trials, just barely.
Damn.
Oh,
Isn't that
shit.
crazy?
Wow.
I think that they started like 20 years later. Those were 1690s.
Oh, okay. I thought they were 1700s. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Well, they
something
went
like
on
that.
for a long time. So I don't know.
1600s. 1300s. Wait, what?
England
Looks like
did them earlier.
1692
Oh,
and
God.
93 was the bulk of the Salem witch trials.
Damn.
Yeah, 20
Learning
years
so much
later.
about history in this episode.
First educational episode of Debut Buddies.
Turns out I just needed ghosts and witches to pay attention.
Yeah, we should write a new Common Core around ghosts and witches and see how many more kids
Ooh.
actually like tune in instead of
more
dropping
engaged.
out, you know?
We're
Yeah.
just going to get banned. They're
true.
not going to stock our books in Florida.
We'll just make it really conservative. We'll post on Proud Real. It'll be our new. We'll just have little animated videos of ghosts, and then we'll make them vote for problematic things. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
A very conservative book with like a QR code that you can scan in the back that takes you to liberal
I was
brainwashing.
like, oh, this is a lie. Join us. No, it's just what's that one book by Marx? Marx.
Yeah, Das Kapital.
Is that the
Talking
one?
about?
That's the one that it'll go to.
We're going to seize the means of production. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
It's the modern day equivalent of like reading a comic book inside your history book in the middle of class.
Oh,
QR
that was
codes.
always the best.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like those were the ones that were probably more conservative. I remember our books not being great.
No,
Mhm.
they weren't. Down in good old Arkansas.
They're not Garfield.
No,
They're no
definitely
Garfield.
not Garfield.
That's true for sure. Okay, so the one that I researched doesn't have like a snappy name that I know of. With what was yours called? The
Greenbriar ghost.
Greenbriar ghost.
Mhm.
This one that I read about was in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and you're never going to believe this. I heard about it for the first time on a ghost hunting TV show.
I'm shocked. Wait, which
I love
one?
this.
Kindred Spirits.
Oh, I was going to ask if that was one.
And I'm going to have, if we have time, I've got some opinions on that episode. But I got curious, so I went and read about it. And there are like, you can find scans of the testimony, like the transcript of the court case was recorded and you can find it in books. And so they're online. You can ostensibly read them. I cannot read this old-timey handwriting. I don't know what that says. So if the people who uploaded those to these websites misquoted anything, I apologize.
So it's in handwriting?
Yeah, 1600s. We hadn't.
Yeah,
invented
no,
the
that
printing
makes
press
sense. I don't
yet,
know
had
why I
we?
thought
The court stenographer was just somebody who could really move that quill.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I have difficulty reading like the birthday cards from my grandma. So I'm like, this is
And this
some
is even
cursive that
older.
combines. Yeah, I don't think I could. I was looking at a bunch of census data recently, and I was like, how do people read?
Oh yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I feel what you're trying
Yeah.
to comprehend.
Like it looks beautiful if you just glance, but I can't parse a single word.
I have an important Portsmouth, Rhode Island factoid to share.
Oh, yay.
That is relatively timely for release
Okay.
of the podcast. That was the very place where Jimmy Buffett played his last public performance before he passed away
Oh.
on September 1st of this year.
R.I.P.
I know.
R.I.P. to a real one. Am I right?
Seriously.
Pour one out. Maybe he knows Rebecca. She's the ghost I'm gonna talk about.
Great.
Yeah, so this is so early to people colonizing America. So Thomas and Rebecca Cornell were immigrants from England. They got married over there, moved to Boston here in 1638, and they were part of a community that was very prescriptive about religion.
Oh,
And they didn't love that. They were like, hate that. We
cool.
would like much more tolerance. So they like pieced out of Boston, bopped on over to Portsmouth, where another more tolerant religious community was being founded. And they likened them to Quakers, but I wasn't sure
Oh.
from the documentation if they were like actually Quakers or like a precursor to Quakers, but they
Okay.
seemed chill is the vibe I was getting. And so they have a whole mess of kids. Some things said 20.
Oh, gross.
Wow.
I
Oh,
know.
no thing. Oh my God. This is a
That
nightmare.
I will say that seemed to be. I didn't write down my sources, but they're open in a tab on another laptop. I
All
will
from the
send
same
them
lady?
to you. All from this. Well, let me give you this caveat first. The 20
Okay.
kids does seem to be more from the salacious, like, let me tell you this ghost story sources, and the history sources has it closer to 4. So
Okay. Oh, thank God. Oh my
So
God.
this is like an Elon Musk level of kids, more
yeah,
accurately.
yeah.
More in the 9 range.
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned that because their first kid was actually named AE-X-1653. They named him after it.
That
Nice.
makes sense.
Okay. Just so everybody knows the
Um,
model year.
Yeah, exactly. No, they were named normal. There's a Sarah and a Samuel and
I
a
thought for a
Thomas
second their name
Jr.
was Normal. And I was like, yeah,
Normal.
Normal. That's a name.
Yeah. Well, they're
Normal.
not to get too far ahead of myself, but there will be a child later named Innocence. So,
Until proven
foreshadowing
guilty?
alert!
Mm.
Yeah, so Thomas and Rebecca immigrated. Thomas dies and is buried on the property in Portsmouth.
Mhm.
And they had like a cemetery on their land. That's where he's buried. Rebecca becomes like the executor of his will, and she is the head of the household, which is crazy. A woman is the head of the household in the
What's
1600s.
going on here?
I know, it's crazy. This is the first wave of feminism. Can you believe
Beautiful.
it? So she like parcels out land grants to her children,
Mm.
and they all get one. But Thomas's comes with like a caveat with strings attached. It's like, Thomas, you'll get your land over my dead body. And in the meantime, you have to like live with me and do the like man stuff around the house.
Mm.
This is
And
Thomas Jr.?
This is Thomas Jr.
So she just didn't want to stop saying Thomas to some man that was living with her, is kind of the
That
That's a
vibe.
little
does seem like
concerning.
it. I
Yeah.
suspect he was the oldest son.
Okay.
Probably.
That makes a little more
Yeah.
sense. Otherwise, it's still creepy, potentially. But it makes
I'm
a little
just
more
gonna-
sense.
It is weird. And there also seem to be like weird dynamics where so Thomas Jr.'s first wife dies, and he remarries a woman named Sarah. And so now we've got
Mm.
Crisscross.
Rebecca has a daughter named Sarah and also a daughter-in-law named Sarah. And I don't know. Weird. And so Sarah rolls in. She's a huge bitch. She's so mean to everybody. She's like, it's your classic like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law
Yeah.
situation. And Sarah is like, one of the stories is that she chased after one of Thomas Jr.'s original children from his first wife with an axe, and Rebecca had to step
Jesus.
in and be like, no, you will not be taking an axe to this toddler
Yeah.
in my
You will not
household.
Lizzie Borden. You will not Lizzie Borden my
Ah.
grandson.
Don't get ahead of me. So
Oh, shit.
What?
just wait.
Oh my God, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. So, yeah, there were just these like maybe nasty dynamics in the family. And one night, Rebecca, I don't know, the stories are crazy, and maybe it's like, or like the phrasing in this document I found were interesting. It was like the family would eat dinner, but they wouldn't coordinate dinner time with Rebecca's fasting schedule, and then they wouldn't bring her any food afterward.
Aw.
Oh, I guess she was in her 70s, so maybe she like couldn't get down the stairs well or something. I'm not sure.
Mm. Wait, was her fasting schedule because of religion?
I don't know. It just was
Okay.
like, this document I read just said it like everybody knows what that means. And I
Like
was
everyone
I
fasts at some
don't
point
know what
for
it
fun.
means. Like,
Intermittent
okay.
fasting. She was trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
down a couple sizes
She's
before-
biohacking.
into her nightgown.
Yeah, she's biohacking. Yeah.
She's a
Do you think-
Huberman wife.
maybe this isn't Thomas Jr. at all. Maybe this is her first husband who biohacked so hard he looked young, and they had to like make up this whole new
Oh my
story.
God. Is this a movie?
First,
if it's not, it should be TM.
There's just a blacksmith buried out back. It's not even him.
Yeah. So I don't know. They got into it one night. Rebecca goes upstairs in a huff, and this is the part of the story that like seems very suspicious to me. Sarah, notorious bitch, asks one of their kids like, "Hey, why don't you take up a glass of boiled milk to your grandma for dinner?"
Ew.
I know.
With the skin on it.
I don't know, man. Or maybe this is additional elder abuse. Maybe this wasn't like, take this up to your grandma for dinner. Maybe it was like, take this up to your grandma for dinner. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
While they just sweep the rest of a goose into the trash.
Yeah. History is weird. The past is crazy. So he goes up there, finds a body on the floor, freaks out, goes to get one of the hired hands for help. He comes upstairs.
Finds a body. Finds her body on the floor, or just a random body?
It is her body, but when the handyman comes upstairs, he thought it was a Native American. And so he starts like shaking her and trying to speak in a Native American language. And then Thomas Jr. comes up, and so she died in a fire, and Thomas Jr. comes up and realizes, oh, that's my mother. And that's why would you think that it would be a Native American instead of your mother in your mother's room?
Yeah.
None of this is adding up to me. And
that's
so
super weird.
Again, we've got a coroner who rolls in, and he is like, oh, this was an accident. Stick her in the ground. And that's the extent of the investigation that's done.
Oh, damn.
About a week later, John Briggs, Rebecca's brother, wakes up in the night because he feels something on his bed. And when he opens his eyes, he sees this light shining in his room. He likened it to dawn. And when he like orients himself, he finds a woman standing at his bedside. And he's like, exclaims like, "What in God's name? Who art thou?" And she's like, "'Tis I, your sister, Cromwell," or Cornell, whatever her last name was. And he's like, "So what's up?" And she basically, she just says, "Look how I have been burned." She doesn't point any fingers. She doesn't say it was murder. That's the quote. And so he takes that to the police, and they're like, okay. But that was enough to like get the town talking. And so this other guy, John Russell, comes forward after Briggs' story, and he's like, "So I know a guy who was friends with Rebecca, and he told me that she said that she was going to leave." A lot of
hearsay in this.
A lot of hearsay. Yeah, his story was that his friend heard from Rebecca that Rebecca was going to move in with one of her other sons because Thomas was a dickhead.
Wow.
And her quote was like, "I'm going to move in with Samuel unless they dispose of me first."
Oh,
Isn't
shit.
that crazy?
Yeah.
And so, and I guess something about the politics there, like since she was the executor of the estate, she held all of the purse strings. And so her son, Thomas Jr., was even paying rent to live in her house. And so if she were to leave, like she'd be out of the house, but he would technically have less financial power with her absence. Right. And so even her leaving.
Oh, that was really smart.
Like a point of contention. I don't know, man. The history document told me this. Yeah. So then all of these people come crawling out of the woodwork, telling tales, really. Like it's so hard to corroborate any of these stories. But Rebecca was always saying like, the house is so cold and Thomas won't turn up the heat. And so I go to bed freezing every night. And people are saying that she's being forced to do farm work. This frail 72-year-old woman is like having to go carry water and chop firewood. And other people, and this is just an interesting side note, I don't really see that this plays into the story too much, or maybe it does. Other people, including two of her own daughters, told stories about how she suffered from a lot of suicidal ideation, specifically that she wanted to stab herself in the heart rather than deal with her troubles.
Sure.
But then she was religious, and so she was like, I prayed to God, I didn't succumb to the devil. And
Okay.
it's interesting. This is just like a fascinating anecdote about hereditary brain troubles. One of her daughters was like, yeah, when I got over like a really bad case of smallpox, I also wanted to die. And I confided that in my mother. And this is the interesting part. She also wanted to stab herself. So
Whoa.
isn't that
Yeah.
weird? Like, I'm sure that that's like a cultural thing. Like maybe that was just on people's minds somehow. But I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
And her mom basically gave her the same advice, like, pray to God, he'll protect you like he did me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this all goes to trial, grand jury, and Thomas Jr. is found guilty and sentenced to be hanged like a week later.
Oh, wow.
Justice moved swift in the 1600s. And then 2 years after that, Sarah was charged as an accomplice. Bitchy wife was charged as an accomplice. That didn't go anywhere. She wasn't convicted. But before she was charged, shortly after Thomas Jr. was hanged, Sarah gave birth to their last child, who she named Innocence. And that daughter married into the Borden family.
Amazing.
And she is the great, 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 great grandmother of good old Lizzie Borden. So Sarah, who tried to kill a kid with an axe,
what?
is heiress to Lizzie Borden fame. Lizzie.
Generational axe murder tendencies.
Yep.
Wow. Cool.
Though Lizzie was acquitted. So,
sure. Yeah.
I guess generational acquittal of potentially murder. And so they ended up exhuming her too, this woman, Rebecca. And they found a wound just below her heart. So did she do that? Or was this murder? But that, like, they dug her up and they were like, just like with the Greenbriar ghost, they were like, yikes.
This was so obvious. Why didn't we look before?
We got to start paying more attention.
Yeah. It's like they're cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then in this episode of Kindred Spirits, they got in there, started doing the Estes method, talking to ghosts, and they believe that Thomas is innocent.
Oh,
so
but Sarah is not?
You know, they didn't even talk about Sarah.
Who do they believe did it? Oh, do they just believe it was self-inflicted?
I guess accident. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, one of the ghost voices that they captured allegedly was the word accident. So they do believe it was an accident and that Thomas is innocent.
Oh.
And the interesting thing about when they hanged Thomas Jr., the judge said, so Thomas Jr. wanted to be buried in the cemetery on the family's property with his family. And people were not super psyched on that idea because they believed that he just murdered his mom.
Yeah,
like, you cannot put him next to her.
Yeah.
So the judge ruled that he had to be buried the furthest away from his mother that you could achieve on their property, and that it needed to be within 10 feet of the road in case they later wanted to erect a monument to to the murderer.
Well, they were like, I don't know which way history is going to go. So
I guess so.
let's be ready.
Maybe murder's going to become popular. We don't want to be behind on this.
The best I can guess is that monument, they meant like tombstone.
Mm,
Because it's an unmarked grave.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so-
So it would probably be like, hey, maybe eventually we'll figure out that he didn't do it or
Yeah.
something, and we'll
Yeah.
want them to be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I don't know. Interesting.
Wow.
And the folks at Kindred Spirits believe that they found the grave.
Oh.
And that's where they did the EVP session, or the
Oh,
SS
okay.
session, where he was like, they were like, do you want to be buried near your family? We'll have you moved. And he was like, no, hate them.
Fuck him.
But he
No.
also said accident. Or someone else said accident?
Yeah, somebody allegedly said accident.
Okay.
Mm.
It's hard to say with ghost testimony. You know what
It's
I mean?
true.
That's
It's
fair.
true. There was a ghost testimony that I just sort of remembered. That
Oh.
now it's fictional, but it does.
I'll
but it
accept
is
it.
around the same time that both of yours occurred within a couple hundred years, because yours was a couple
That's
hundred
close.
years apart.
Mhm.
But like 1599 is when Hamlet
Ooh.
is written, and William
Oh.
Shakespeare's play
Wow.
features a very prominent ghost
Yep.
that
Yep.
tells his son, "Your stepfather murdered me,"
That's
Yep.
true.
and now he's sticking it to your mom.
Boning.
Yeah.
Poison in the ear, right?
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Weird way to go.
So sneaky.
I mean, legit, the most pleasant of the three that we've brought
Mhm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Much rather just have poison poured in the ear than be
Poison in the ear.
pulverized and thrown down the stairs or stabbed in the chest.
The
Ugh.
anti-nausea medicine I have to give my cat right now is rubbed into his ear. His little baby ear.
But that's
Aw.
good. That's anti-poison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
true. But I
I
was
guess
like,
it
is
could
that
be.
a very susceptible place to absorbing? Is that where you absorb a lot? I mean, cats are covered in fur, so that's probably different.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I imagine it's like it's a soft membrane, right? And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to deal with the digestive system or anything. So
Would it have to go through your
Mm.
ear, like over your eardrum
Canal.
when we water? When we go
water?
into water or shower.
Mhm. when we water our bodies.
It doesn't.
When we water our bodies.
Yeah, when we take our pails and then we pour that water onto ourselves.
Yeah.
Does it go into our brains? It doesn't go into our brains because you get worried about the brain eating amoebas through the nose because I am afraid of those.
I think we all
Or
should
you
be.
can get them through your eyes.
You know, while Chelsea, you were telling your story, I remembered another ghost testimony
What?
from the early days of, I think that it was probably closer to my story than your story because it was
Mhm.
early. And this is so long ago that it's closer to urban legend, I think, than any history. And I don't remember all of the details, but there was a haunted house and people would roll in to get spooked. Or maybe a family lived there. I don't know. But ultimately, we find out that this was another murdered woman who was
Mm.
like, I was murdered for my riches. But the person who murdered me, I knew he was coming after my money. So I hid it.
Ooh.
And
Smart.
I mean, she did die. So
Yeah. Half smart.
it was the
Potato,
gamble.
potato.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
unfortunately, she did not reap the reward.
Yeah.
But eventually, somebody came to the house who was like skeptical of ghosts. And I think essentially somebody like dared him, like,
Mm.
go, and if you're there at midnight, you'll see a ghost. And he was like, oh, fine. So he goes, he sees the ghost, and he's like, whoa, hey, okay, hey, what's your deal? And she explains and is like, thanks for chatting with me. I will tell you where my treasure is. And so
Oh,
he found the treasure and was able to be rich. So
Aw.
nice.
be kind to your ghosts, I guess.
Yeah,
is the
always.
point.
Yeah, like, okay, so thematically, like, there's no perfect crime, right? Like there's this sort of sense of the eternal consequences to things,
Mm.
and that the best way they can manifest while you're on this plane of existence is a ghost indicates that you fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like, because obviously like we don't have any real like afterlife proof. Like no one's been like, I mean, maybe whatever that movie was. What was that movie where people died? Flatliners.
Flatliners.
Yeah. Maybe like a flatliners scenario. But beyond
See,
that.
but I think that was that chemical that floods your brain.
The
Yeah.
DMT, is that the
Yeah,
one that,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brain chemical. Hallucinate,
Brain chemical.
etc.
Hallucinate, brain, go.
Yeah.
You not die, but you think die.
Splash.
Psilocybin, I think, is it.
So yeah, I just think it's interesting. Ghosts were like, hey, look over here. Literally like look,
They were
look
just
in
like,
this
look
spot.
this way.
Yeah. It wasn't just like look under a tree in the shape
Right.
of
So are they like
whatever.
they're watching us like a movie? So like they have
Oh.
information we don't have, so they're yelling at the screen, and sometimes that yelling gets through.
I love that.
Sure. But I also think it's so fascinating that like people believed them enough to exhume bodies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't happen today.
Well, hopefully our coroners would do a way better job.
I mean, yes. But, in some towns, the coroner is an elected position that has no
Mhm.
medical requirements. So we might need some ghosts up in that town to be like, a.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with the West Memphis 3, by the way.
Oh. I could imagine that in a circumstance where a very famous person dies
Mhm.
mysteriously, and there is a burial, there could be like enough of a legal force to keep them from being exhumed, regardless of the number of ghosts that said something different happened than what someone thought happened, right? But maybe like, but in sort of the average of small town murders and deaths, if a ghost showed up, do you think it would really be that, like people would be that reluctant?
I kind of do. I mean, I think that there are absolutely pockets where it would be legitimately entertained and maybe even carried out, but I don't know. I don't think that in most cases you could make it happen. And I think that in most cases, if somebody like shows up at the courthouse to be like, there was a ghost in my bedroom last night and it said, dig up the body. They're going to be like put in a psych hospital for 72 hours,
What if David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson do it?
I'm believing all of these people.
Yeah. I'm
every one of them.
Yeah. No,
even the
I'm
person
trying
who
to,
runs in, random stranger, we're in. I think this group is into believing them and digging up that body.
I guess the other end is like these are all directly related persons, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your two stories. And I think that's probably like the line, because if I just ran to a courthouse in Alabama and said like I saw a ghost and it said that this happened instead of what you think happened, it would be like, yeah, this person's nuts. But if literally like a relative or sibling or whatever or parent is like, my daughter appeared to me, she said this thing would be over here, go look, and then you go look and it's there, it's like, well, fuck, like how do you not believe that? I mean, that's remarkable.
Actually finding evidence there is crazy. Like that may or may not have happened in my story. Your story, Chelsea, was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is where you can find the stuff, like my decorations, my blood-covered decorations. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I'm just thinking about like mediums who allegedly have tips for crimes. Those don't get taken seriously.
Yeah,
or to bring it back to like relatives, how many times are people like, my daughter's shitty husband did it and that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that doesn't
so like I don't know, man.
I did watch a no, what is that? It was like a cold case episode when I was visiting my family last week, but it was about a guy who kept telling his wife, like, yeah, I totally killed my cousin. And he just kept talking about it. But because they could never find a body, it never mattered.
Oh, nobody.
He did
crime.
end up
That's what they say.
But he did end up getting arrested because he talked about it way too much.
Yeah, you can't go talk
And they were
about
like,
it,
you're going to jail now.
Keep it secret, keep it
You've
safe.
told everyone in the town we would look
know-
stupid if we didn't arrest you.
That's a confession, my man.
Yeah, doesn't that? I mean, but that feels like you wouldn't talk about it that much unless you really needed to be believed, right? At some point,
Maybe.
like I guess I teeter in this place of, and maybe I'm being overly like empathetic to the situation, and I can't comprehend actually murdering anybody, so I wouldn't comprehend the mindset of someone who does so. But I would think that if you got to that point,
that's exactly
where you're
what
like,
a murderer would say.
"Hey, can I just show me your teeth real quick?"
No teeth.
Let me see.
What?
Hiding behind the microphone.
Listener, both of my co-hostesses are covering their teeth with their lips.
I felt like I was admonishing a pet. Like, no teeth.
Hey, I do need to be scolded sometimes. It's true.
Gross. Don't make it grosser.
I'm a bad little boy.
Stop.
Oh, God.
Tell me about your weird murderer empathy. Go on.
No. What I'm saying is, like, if you did that and you kept running around telling people that you did it, at some point it would become this like insistence that someone believe you because you're so detached from the action that you're like, I don't even remember if I do that. You know what I mean?
Or was this
maybe
story
this guy
that
though he ended up like his wife went to the cops and was like, hey, I'm in fear for my life. I think he's gonna kill me. And they were like, why? And she was like, he talks about that he killed his cousin all the time. And then they were like, did you kill your cousin? And he was like, did you guys ever find a body? And he said that directly to the cops and they were like, no.
They're like, damn it, we gotta anticipate those questions.
Yeah. So it's like, oh God, I thought he was gonna say it. We almost had him, but damn it.
We gotta do it faster next time. We gotta be like, hey, what's your favorite sandwich? Did you kill your cousin?
Pastrami on, yes. Oh no, I didn't mean to say that.
Would you if somebody in your life suddenly passed away under suspicious circumstances and a ghost came to you and said, look under the stairs?
I would look under the stairs. Were you asking?
If the stairs are in my house, I'm looking under the stairs. But if you have to break into a house to look under the stairs.
Do I know the person who owns the house? There are a lot of...
you know them, but they're a murderer.
They're a known murderer.
You're
like, okay, hey guys, I think a ghost confirmed the known murderer that we all know is a murderer and murdered some people. I don't know. Seems fishy.
I would do it.
Like, how far are we going? I think that if I saw a ghost in that circumstance, I would probably be like, grief works in mysterious ways. I don't even know that I would believe myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Oh,
I don't know. We'll have to wait until we're in that situation.
Yeah.
If I don't have any teeth, Kelly.
Well, if you don't have any teeth, we've got a lot of evidence for who to look for.
There's absolutely no reason to think that my turnip shaped like Chelsea's head has her actual teeth in it.
It's got like a braid of her hair stitched to the top.
So I just come to you, Kelly, look for the turnips. Is that
Yeah. This is why I was so upset that you were sick when I was in Seattle, because I couldn't catch a lock while you were turning to grab your latte. It's incomplete.
Oh, damn.
Oh my God.
Just imagine like a bunch of lacquered turnips with human teeth in their mouths.
Oh my God.
That's scary shit.
Quite
isn't
a nightmare. It? Yeah.
This is your crime diorama that you can take
know.
on the first date.
Yeah.
Just
is
like
it a diorama
nice...
though, Kelly, or is it a liverama?
Oh.
Signature.
Oh no, but this is why I would most prefer the Shakespearean style ghost, the ghost that shows up and is like monologue, and you're like, can't really deny that, like that wasn't just like that wasn't just somebody
everything. Thank you.
That
just speaking very frankly,
that wasn't just a whisper of accident. That's like
it's
legit. That's the guy that just died. He's wearing his armor. He's explaining what went down.
And like spinning your head around, does that make me believe you more or less?
Maybe she was just like, I learned this cool trick
Right.
after passing. She was like, look at what I can do. And then she was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's
It
all
was
I
like
gotta do. That took a lot of energy. They won't let me stay. Sorry.
That's like Beetlejuice, right?
See you tomorrow
When
night.
Alec Baldwin and
Yeah.
Gina Davis are learning all the scare
Oh, yeah.
tactics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're like, it's too much energy. I must go now. Oh.
But she was like talking to her mom. She wasn't. It was more of like a look, ma, no hands than it was like.
Should we jump into the Mouthgarf report?
Let's do it.
The MouthGarf Report. Open wide.
Yay!
Yay!
I like how we're slowly morphing it into different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
This is just the coffee break of the episode.
yeah. We did kill a very large spider, which I don't know.
You murdered.
Yeah,
Is the
I'm
ghost of
struggling.
his
I'm struggling with that. My
Family.
brother is very anti-killing spiders, which is shocking. Oh, the amount of black widows in my house.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh,
The new
yeah,
one?
the new one.
The black mold
have-
and the black spiders.
Yes.
Oh.
I am struggling. Yeah, I found one, and then my brother, whenever he was mowing out back, he ended up finding one. But I was like, you took care of it? And he was like, no, absolutely not. It is outside. This is their home. We do not do that to them. And I was like, okay.
Well,
okay.
and he's coming off of a brown recluse. I
Yeah.
cannot hold this against him.
I can't, and it's upsetting. And I'm just like, I don't want to be a victim.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so scared.
They're like
Um,
very skilled murderers, those
yeah.
black widows. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm okay with like I will leave jumping spiders alone and I won't touch them. I will leave daddy long legs alone. I may have gotten a decent amount of bites on the back of my legs recently. I do not
That's
know
right.
what spider that's from, but there is I'm having a time in general. But yeah, we killed a giant, probably wolf spider, which we probably didn't need to kill because it was a wolf
Oh,
spider.
Those
But it was
are
so big.
upsetting looking.
It was so big. And I like went in to
Yeah.
brush my teeth and I turned around and looked at the bathtub and it was just sitting there staring at me. And I was like,
Oh,
man,
God.
you are much bigger than I would like you to be. And I'm sorry. I'm sure
Speaking
you're
of
fine.
Beetlejuice, I'm imagining that scene where he's like the beetle reading the newspaper,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, how you doing?"
Basically.
Just that in your
That's what it was
bathtub.
doing. And it didn't move. And then I felt really bad because I was like, you're not doing anything to bother me. Killing spiders is such a like a moral dilemma.
No, he was menacing.
He was chilling. It could have been a she.
Do wolf
You know?
do wolf spiders eat black widow spiders though? Is that a thing?
Do what?
Wolf spiders eat black widow spiders?
I
'Cause
don't.
if
Well,
they do,
the
you
wolf
should
spider
cultivate.
was in a different house. The black
okay.
widows are all up in the house that I will eventually live in. The wolf spiders are in, and brown recluse are in the house that I'm living in now.
Out of the pot, into the fire.
It's fine. It'll be
You
fine.
got a frying
fine.
pan situation over there.
Oh my god, we did have a hammerhead worm. Have you guys heard of those?
No.
Those are apparently have a horrible neurotoxin.
Ah!
And I had a nightmare because I went and we were shoveling with a little garden shovel, and it came out of my wall. You know, normal, not like a nightmare. And I was talking to my brother about it, which I should never talk to him about bugs that I'm afraid of. And he was like, "Yeah, they are. What is the word when they show up and they have a lot of them and they're invasive?" They're invasive. So he's like, they're invasive, they're not good. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna kill it. And then I just stabbed it a bunch of times. And then I went home and read that if you just stab it a bunch of times, then you just split it and then they create new worms. And I was like, I turned one worm into 5 worms. And then I had nightmares of giant worms
Oh, no.
that night. I guess that's my mouth guard.
Dune
Okay.
2.
Yeah. A bit of a struggle for the last week or so when it comes to bugs.
Wolf spiders do ambush brown recluses, black
Damn.
widows, and other venomous spiders.
Okay,
So,
well,
so
I'm
something to
gonna
keep in mind.
I'm gonna bring the wolf spiders. I'm gonna let
Yeah.
them be. I'm gonna let them be.
Yeah, you gotta
can do,
join
like, a
the
catch
pack.
and release
Yeah.
Mhm.
situation.
Take them here,
Yeah.
grab them
Mhm.
here, drop them off there.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Dang. Yeah, I have a lot of spiders in my new house. It's fine. It's fine. I also don't have a window still.
Oh no! Like
Things are
it, like
going
it's
great.
like it's an open hole. Like it needs
Yeah.
It needs glass in it.
Somebody took our window to fix it, and they have not brought it back to us. And it has been a few weeks, and they keep saying, I don't know where it is. And then we're like, okay, well, you have it, so
I don't know where it is.
Yeah. I mean, I
We'll
get
get
that it's
back
like
to you.
clear and you can see through it, but it's probably like
it's
if there's not a
somewhere,
window
right?
on the other side, it's probably the window.
Yeah. So we have a
Yeah.
window missing from our
Okay,
house at the
well,
moment.
maybe
So spiders are just coming in, hanging out.
you'll maybe like a good Samaritan spider named, I don't know, Charlotte will roll in and like web you a temporary window.
Now
Let's
we're
embrace
talking.
the bug situation.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Make it work
mhm.
for us.
You thought about getting a
Yeah.
pig just to up the
Get a
ante?
pig.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, pigs, I hear, are adorable pets. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petty will get along with a pig just fine.
I think so.
Well, fine. Petty doesn't like any other living thing, so that's not
Well,
human.
Maybe the
If he
pig can
can't
be
get
an
along with
outdoor.
Mouse, he can't get along with anything.
Mouse is my cat, not a mouse.
Yeah, this is all podcast.
That's a good
canon.
point.
If
That's a
you're
good
not
point.
if you're not familiar with this yet, listener, like just turn it off now. Come on. No,
Or
no,
listen
no,
to
actually,
every
please.
Please finish,
episode.
and then rate and review 5 stars, please.
Yeah. Hang out. Stay with us. Stay with us a while.
Oh,
I had to squish like a I don't really know how to describe this bug. I mean, we all
Ooh.
have seen one. It
Okay.
sort of looks, it's not like a silverfish because it's not, but it is like a centipede looking bug, but one that has like a
House
bunch
centipede?
of like, but it's got like little like fan wavy dudes all over it.
What?
It's
Is
like-
it
is
white?
this the it looks like a feather almost. It's
Kind of, yeah. It's like,
red?
oh, it's like clear.
It's
like
red?
clear
It's
looking.
clear.
Clear.
Yeah.
I
it's
saw
like a-
one of those when I was at the vet.
Mhm.
I need
Okay.
to Google it. I want to
I
look
have
at those.
no idea what this is.
It's like a clear looking. I mean, it basically looked like a like an underwater, like a shrimp kind of thing.
That's
Ooh.
when you said it was clear, I was like, that's
Yeah, but it was
we're
definitely
talking
clear.
bottom of the ocean.
And when I squished it because it like was running across the floor in the back room of the house, I squished it because just out of instinct, and it was just
Yeah.
like a very wet, like very like it was full of water, like it was a little water balloon bug. It was something
Wow.
else. It's gross.
That's an
It's gross.
alien. Have you watched The Faculty recently?
No,
That's
I mean,
an
I was
alien.
thinking about this. As a consequence, I've been doing methamphetamine for the last 2 weeks.
Reasonable.
So,
yeah,
okay.
to dry
just
him
to
out.
make sure
Yeah.
that it didn't get in, you know.
That was just caffeine mostly. So
Oh, okay.
in the
Well, you know. Hey, look. I mean, we've all made mistakes.
I mean, have fun. There's
They're
a-
considered house centipedes. Is their name
See-
house centipede?
no
I mean,
house
maybe that's
centipedes
what
are
it
what
is,
I
I
was
don't know.
describing.
Oh,
They're like feathery, but they're not clear. We have house centipedes here, and I fucking hate them. Or maybe they're different colors.
Oh
and
yeah, no.
I
It
think
was
they
like
come in
it was
different
one of
colors.
those. It was one of these things. It was one of those things.
Vomit.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what it
Vomit.
was.
Well, they're I googled it, and or rather, my fingers googled it, and my brain forgot I did. So then I looked at the screen. Well, they're red here, and
Okay.
I loathe them. And yeah, the first time I saw one, I was like, "Alien!" Like,
Yeah.
that is not.
I
that
think
should
the
not
first
be-
time I saw one was on Sunday whenever I was at the vet, and I was watching the unbinding, and I looked down, and it was just crawling across the floor, and there was a lady next to me, and she was on the phone, and I was like, do I tell her? And I'm sitting there trying, like, I'm having a moral dilemma. Like, do I tell
Yeah.
her that it's coming at her? And I was like, what's the likelihood of it doing anything? I was like, it's probably fine. It probably won't do anything. Probably won't bite her. So
No,
I
they're
was like,
just
I'll wait until
upsetting,
she's
right?
off the phone. And then if I can still see it, I'll let her know. So it crawls into the corner where she's sitting, and I can see it, and it stopped crawling. So then I go back to the movie, and I hear her get off the phone. I look over, and it's gone. I'm like, well, I don't have to tell her.
Do you think she's been possessed by it?
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
if she has, then it's probably better
R.I.P..
for everybody, honestly.
So upside. I just read. I got a quick overview of them. They pretty much just eat other bugs and spiders.
Cool.
Their tiny little bug mouths can barely penetrate people's skin, so it's very rare that they even successfully bite you. And if
But
they
they
do,
can.
it's
How often do they go in the nose or the mouth?
Same question.
Especially
Is
when
that in-
sleeping. Those are
Is
my
that in
main.
there?
I didn't see anything about
This is the
that.
next
Like they're
thing I'm
really
gonna
not
find in
that
my fucking
interested.
mouth guard.
But they eat spiders, termites, cockroaches, silverfish, bed bugs, ants.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. We need more of these guys.
They're winning me over.
Why are they so creepy?
Okay, Kelly, don't look, but this is a really interesting magnified picture of their face.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that looks fake. That's AI. That's an AI picture.
Well, yeah, I mean the hands have too many fingers, but still, it's pretty good.
To eat all the other things that are terrible. Should I just get a box of them and let them loose in my house? And then I'll get an eagle to take care of those.
Get your brother over there and then just dump house centipedes on all the black widows and be like, it's just nature, buddy. I'm not doing it.
He'll accept that. He'll accept it.
Yeah.
He'll be like, okay.
Cool. Battle
you figured
Royale.
out
Let's
already. You gotta let the world do what it's gonna do. Kelly, any bugs? Any mouth garfs?
Saw a big old dragonfly today.
Oh,
Cute.
That's it.
How big? How big we talking?
I mean,
6 inches?
body?
10 inches?
nah, not that
that's
big.
a lot.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
the body was probably 4 inches long. It was
Nice.
big.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty respectable.
It was large enough that I was inside my car and it came up at the windshield and it was big enough that I was like, what? Yeah, he just winged over to be like, hey, what's up? And then he left. So that
Aw.
was it.
We had a fun bird. Can I talk about birds?
Ooh,
Is that okay?
yes,
Mhm.
please.
I have not ID'd this bird, but Cool Bird was singing like a very jaunty tune. I don't have it in my head, so I'm not going to replicate it or even try. I think it was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm not sure.
That makes sense.
But it was like a little gray, like it looked like a blue jay in that it had like a crest or like a cardinal.
Okay.
But it was like an all gray sort of gradient bird that had like a darker tail.
Oh.
It was really cool. But it wasn't
big?
like a parakeety sort of thing. It looked like a jay. It was just really small.
Oh, just tiny, just little.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
color
it was
the
like-
beak?
I think the beak was black.
Okay.
Monochromatic queen.
Yeah. But it was just it was really interesting because it was like hopping around. We've got a tree in our backyard. It was just hopping around the bare branches because there's some dead branches on that tree. But it was just like bouncing around up there and singing a little bit. And then it was like
Aw.
flying around and trying to eat bugs and stuff, which I love. Hey, look,
Having
eat
a
some
great
bugs.
day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hope that bird's having a great day.
Yeah.
I hope it comes back. I hope it hangs out.
Yeah.
I would love to
Mhm.
set up accommodations. Join us, bird.
Yeah.
Be part of the family. I don't have any other news. Although I'm going to start researching one of those sonic mouthguard cleaners just because it's
Yeah.
probably just the right thing to do. I know I've been.
Yeah.
I think so.
I just want to say we've been through what? We've been through 375,000 episodes together, and I've been
right.
reluctant
Yeah.
to get a cleaner for the mouthguard up until today. And I just want you
Have
to
you?
know
I'm
that
glad today's the day.
I listen to you both. I really do.
What changed? Is this part of
Ooh.
the tooth fetish or
Something happened.
did something happen?
No. I mean,
Did you smell your mouth guard?
Did you smell your mouth guard?
Mhm.
okay.
That'll do it.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I didn't
Uh-oh.
ever notice. All right, look, it has not. I detected no tangible odor on my mouth
Okay.
guard
Okay, that's very
for
positive.
all time until this trip, until this work trip,
Oh.
where when I got it out of the case, out of the bag,
Mm.
and it was like, oh, there's this little funk on there, right?
Yeah.
Which I
Just
think is
put
because
that in
it
your
went
mouth?
into the case and it got closed and sealed
Oh.
inside the
Yeah,
bag
that'll make
on
it
the
gross.
airplane, right? It didn't air dry the way that it normally air dries when it
I see.
exits the old chew pan. I don't know what else
Yes,
to call
chew
mouth.
Not to be confused with Chopin.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, now who's doing it? Oh boy.
It's a full role reversal episode. So I'll look into it.
My dentist gave it to me. It is branded with my dentist's name, and it
Aw.
is plastic.
Oh, well then have your dentist send me one if he's just giving them away branded.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll advertise.
we have how many? Dr. Allman, Family Dental.
Oh, we have.
Yeah,
Boulder, Colorado.
yeah.
He's great.
You-
Tell him
you
Diggy
let him
Buddy
know.
sent ya.
I'm a big fan of teeth. I will talk them up.
I told him that teeth were a bit on the show, and he was
Yeah.
like, "If you want me to come on, I'm available."
What?
Oh man, this could be amazing.
All right.
How long can I play chicken with an actual dentist on the podcast?
Oh my god.
And that was the MouthGarf Report.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay.
Is it now like Buggarf? I think we've.
Bugguard?
Oh no, we kept the mouth.
Now it's mouth bug. Yeah, we didn't really talk
Mouth
garf at all this time.
Mouthgarf.
No.
That
Mouth
sounds
bug was
bad.
just that one time.
Bugguard. Bugguard is better.
Oh,
Because
Bugguard.
that doesn't imply
Bugguard.
bugs in mouths. Bugguard Report was what that one was. That's great.
Yeah.
We're doing
That
good.
feels
Yeah, this is clean. No one has to have any nightmares tonight about this. Speaking of wanting to throw up, are you ready to play a game?
Always.
Yeah, I was getting a piece of paper, getting ready, getting psyched.
It's time to play I See What You Did There.
Yay!
And for this I See What You Did There, I have for you ghosts,
Yay!
testimonies,
Oh,
and courtroom related stuff.
okay.
All right.
Is it like actual courtroom or like court TV?
There's gonna
Shows.
be some court, not actual courtroom. I'm not gonna require you to do any sort of Supreme Court cases or something if that's a concern.
But would
That
this be
wasn't,
like,
but it is now.
If the glove fits, you must acquit.
Yeah.
level?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. I think we
no,
know where it's going. Oh,
it won't.
damn.
But
No. Okay.
We'll find out.
you're just gonna have to see what I
We'll
did.
we'll dive into it.
Ah,
Yeah.
Let's
fine.
do it.
You always do great, and you're gonna do great starting with number one.
That's nice of you to say.
It's true of me to say. I'm gonna insert some piano music here. Let's just have a
Go.
Ghost. A
You're
ghost
both
is
really
gonna
good at
come
this
to me
game.
tonight and be like, Nate's a liar.
And you're gonna think it's about the teeth, but it's not.
You
It's
want
about
your
the teeth. It's about this game. All right. Number one. A man in my shoes runs a light, and all the papers lied tonight. But falling over you is the news of the day. So goes the lyrics to the one Psychedelic Furs song that you probably know. And if you've seen Cameron Crowe's Say Anything, you definitely know this song by the guy who said, I'm going to be a sledgehammer. This can be my testimony.
So do we have to say his name?
2 song
Okay.
titles. Yeah. So the song title by the Psychedelic Furs.
I have the second one. Kelly, do you
Good.
have-
Yes. Great.
I
Is
only
it-
have the second one.
Oh shit.
It's the song from Say Anything, not the song whose lyrics I gave you. Just so we're clear there.
I got that. Yeah, I think I'm clear.
Cool. Okay. Because
Wait, what is
Sledgehammer is a Peter Gabriel song.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
you can't say sledgehammer in the clue. What is it, Chelsea? What's the second part?
What?
You said you had the second part, or no?
Did you say it was Sledgehammer?
It isn't sledgehammer.
It's not Sledgehammer.
Isn't
yeah.
it in your eyes?
Yes,
In
it is.
your
The light,
eyes.
the heat, your eyes. I am complete.
In
Your
Keep going.
your
eyes.
eyes.
I see the doorway.
Oh, we're gonna get
Uh-huh.
what's it called?
We're going to get demonetized.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, take our $0 from us. We dare you.
From our
Can
cold
we-
dead hands.
Can we like do a reverse thing where we do it so hard that we
Yeah.
get money? Like,
Yeah.
We loop back around.
Surely,
yeah, can
surely
we
if we're bad enough, someone's going to pay Spotify to listen to the real song just to understand what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
And that
can do
shouldn't
that.
be cause for monetization.
Don't artists only get like 0.08 of a cent for every
Yeah.
song played?
If that might be
No.
that might be like the
That might
high
be high.
negotiated point.
Yeah.
Yeah, In Your Eyes is
Okay.
the second half. So the first song, the psychedelic first song, was also covered by the Counting Crows, and it has it has the most interesting and important word about the episode that we're talking about.
Ghost.
Yeah, it's got ghost in it.
Chelsea Bud, this one's all you.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not.
I'm sending so many
Ghost
vibes your way.
Blank in your eyes. No, that sounds not good. Ghost.
You're really almost there. You can really just put...
I know. There's another word. There's a word that we're missing, right?
Is it light? Ghost light in your eyes?
No.
You said one of...
No, you're not missing a word in between them.
Oh.
Ghost in your eyes?
Ghost.
It's the ghost in your eyes.
Oh,
is
the
what I was,
ghost.
That's what I did there. That's what I did there. The psychedelic first song is The Ghost in You.
I'm so sorry. Oh.
Gotcha.
Which I'm sure you've heard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing it.
It's the ghost in you, she don't fade. You know that? Like, the Counting Crows covered it. You'll look it up.
I'll
You'll
listen to it right
later.
after this.
You'll listen to it later.
See, we're
Everybody will
generating
listen to it
money.
later.
We deserve monetization.
Yeah. You both saw what I did there. You did great. It was a perfectly written question, and I'm glad that I did it.
No,
very
that's
late
on
last
us, Nate.
That's
This
on
one's on
us.
us.
No, it's
There have been ones that have been on you.
Yeah,
this one's
for
on
sure.
us. This one's
they've
on us.
almost all been on me. At this point, I can't tell the difference.
It's because we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
In this together.
Go listen to it. This is our affiliate link. Hey, number two.
Number two.
We can assume that following working for Al Pacino's law firm, Keanu Reeves's Kevin Lomax from this movie
Oh, yeah.
goes on to hear ghosts testify. And this is another word for the shrill howling or wailing that might come during a haunting.
Devil's advocate.
Yes?
Devil's advocate. Yowl. That doesn't feel right at all.
You're really close. It's not
Scream?
that.
Caterwaul?
No?
Devil's Advocaterwall?
Devil's Advocaterwall.
We
You see what I
did
did
Yay!
there? Everywhere. Right? That's how Al Pacino does stuff in that movie.
I should rewatch that.
It's on Tubi. I was watching part of it last night. That's why this came up.
Tubi?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tubi.
I was like, I can watch this movie with commercial breaks. That's great. It's actually
That's
kind of
fair.
perfect this way.
That's the only way I've watched it.
There's-
so
Same.
yeah. I really think that it's weird that we've looped back around, and maybe it's just because I'm extremely old, but sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I just need to put Tubi on because I can put on an old movie that I don't care that much about, and it gets commercial breaks in it, and it just feels comforting that way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it reminds me of like Sunday cable movie watching where it's just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. There's detergent in the middle of the sex scene. Like, no big deal. That's what happens.
Just asked a friend of mine whose kid was staying home from school because they were sick. And I was like, what do kids watch during the day? Because when I
Wow.
was growing up, it was Maury, Jerry
Yeah.
Springer. And he was like, Kelly,
Sally
they're
Jesse
all-
Raphael.
It's streaming. Kids don't watch
Yeah.
television.
Yeah, there was a
these
thing that
days.
talked about kids
Oh.
saying, like a mother went into the room and she was like, oh, they were watching something on Netflix and she was like, can you change the channel? And they were like,
The
huh?
what?
And
This is
then
like
she was like,
YouTube, Mom.
do you know what change the channel means? And they're like, well, I feel like it's the same thing as when you say hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Same
you're like,
era.
Oh, okay.
Well, because you can't hang up either, right? Like,
No.
that's about
just
putting
close out your-
a receiver on a hanger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't change your channels, you change your whatever streaming item you've
Yeah.
chosen. Change the show.
To us, when you like mime a phone, you do like the hang loose.
Yeah.
Hang it.
And
put
they
it-
do
No,
the-
kids do like brick to their ear.
yeah.
This
That's
is it.
weird.
Gotta have your
Oh,
speaker
boy.
in your receiver.
Yeah, you got to have a listening part and a talkie part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need listening talkie.
Instead, it's just
Ahoy.
now all look at me part because kids
Yeah.
are like, look at me. I'm important and young and beautiful. And Nate's not old. It's the world that's wrong.
We're old and decrepit. Welcome to our new
Oh.
section. Old and
Old and
decrepit.
Oh my god. I wanted to talk about my new leg pillow during the MouthGarf report, but we'll save that for another day.
Oh, no, you're not going to remember. Let's talk about it now.
Well, I got a new leg
MouthGarf
pillow with a
report.
strap.
Redux.
So it has worked out very well and it makes it so I can lay on my back. and it's very nice. I don't know if
Oh.
you guys have any. It's to help align my spine, but I get very weird about my knees touching when I'm sleeping, so I have a pillow between my legs.
Oh,
And then-
when you sleep on your side.
Yes, and then so
Okay,
like
yeah.
it's a tiny pillow that's like this big. You can't see me,
Oh,
but
perfect.
it's like maybe a foot tall and then like a foot wide, and then it's like a heart shape, and it has
Cute.
a strap, so it
Cute.
stays on my leg all night, so it never goes away.
Was
That's
just
great.
gonna ask, do you lose it? Strap is
No,
so smart.
strap is what does it. Yeah, no,
Nice.
I've used it for a week so far, so great. So would recommend. This is us
Okay.
being decrepit. You're welcome.
That's
New
awesome.
affiliate
Mhm.
link.
Yeah. We need sleep, but we're not built for sleeping. Something's
No.
wrong.
Nope. Nope.
We
not at
are
all.
back to fatal insomnia. We did it, folks. We
Yes!
bookended the show with fatal insomnia.
Okay, hey, number 3. You ready? You ready for number 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3. This Marvel Comics character wears leather,
Whoa.
rides a hog, and is always very hot-headed.
Okay.
And
it.
this is the name of the multi-creator classic tarot deck you know best.
Ghost
Ghost
Rider.
Rider, wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
You see what I did there? Ghost Rider Waite or Ghost Rider Waite Smith. If we pop that, oh,
I'm in my fucking tarot era right now, motherfucker.
hell yeah. You see what I did there? That was great. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4. Number 4 is the final one.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Woohoo! Woohoo! In this classic holiday book, ghosts redeem an iconic capitalist. And this is an alliterative British luxury car maker that knows a little something about ghosts.
At the Christmas Carol,
Uh-huh.
and it is a British vehicle. Wait, what did you say? Repeat it.
It's an alliterative British luxury car maker that knows a little something about ghosts.
Christmas Care Rolls Royce.
You see what I did there? You see what I did there? Yeah.
Yay.
A Rolls-Royce Ghost is a model of car they make.
No. Why would we know that?
We would
They're
not
really,
know that.
yeah. I mean, the alliterative part was more what I was leaning into anyway. But if you had known, hey, I never know. Who am I to presume
I
that neither of
appreciate
you would
that.
be like?
That's
Maybe
great.
you're just
No.
secretly into like Rolls Royces. That would be something.
It could, you know.
There
you
are
know,
things
you're right.
that
You
we
never know.
have liked that are weird that
Yeah.
we haven't tapped into yet on this podcast. So
Yeah.
that's fair.
Well, the important thing is that you saw what I did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Kelly, you killed it on this one.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I like just happened to watch. This is not an exaggeration. I watched a 2-hour YouTube video of a witch showing me all of her tarot card decks.
Wait. Let's talk Debs.
I forgot what we were here for.
Ghosts and testimonies.
Yeah.
5, baby.
Yeah. It's a 5. It's a 5 for
I'm
me too.
going 5 Debs.
5 Debs. I mean, if Ghost's going to come back and tell you to go do stuff and give you details about where to find the things
Yeah.
Yes.
and to lead
Yeah,
to
dude.
conviction, yeah,
Oh,
you got to give it to him.
Like undeniable level of ghost intelligence and helpfulness. Great. I'm in 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I want more. We could use
Yeah.
more, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
5.
it.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Love it.
That was
Mhm.
easy. That was so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. For our next episode, I believe we're going to be talking about the first Mothman festival.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Gosh, when you started that sentence, I was like, what did we agree upon? I'm traveling. I don't have time.
Kelly is going to be our woman in the streets
Mhm.
correspondent live at the Mothman Festival.
Mothman Festival. And honestly, that's in West Virginia too. So maybe I can, I don't know where Greenbriar
by.
is, but maybe I can go say hey to, what was her name? Zona?
Yeah.
Zona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if she's still bopping around.
I love
Hey-
this.
Hey, girl.
You're telling us all about that.
Mhm.
Yes.
It is going to be a blast. I'm really excited to hear about the Mothman Festival. And
It's gonna
I'm
be
excited
weird.
to find out, like, hey, who did you meet? Right? I assume
Mhm.
there's gonna be cool people you met.
Yeah. And there are a bunch of speakers talking weird, high strangeness, paranormal
Ooh.
stuff that I'm excited. I don't recognize any of their names, and can't wait. Can't wait. I'm
Great.
going to get autographs. I assume they do that.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
gonna bring me some teeth back, right?
always, yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
Okay. Good. Yeah. We
Can
talked
I,
about this off mic, listener, and I just want to make sure that that's still like this is my only way of holding her accountable. Like we
Yeah.
make these promises to each
Get it on the
other, but
record.
sometimes people just don't give you the teeth you ask for,
Right.
and they go like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry." And it's like they're in everyone's mouths all the time. How could you forget?
How did you forget? Do you think I have to check those, or can I carry
They're
on?
not
Carry on
metal.
fine?
They won't.
Yeah, no, I mean,
notice.
don't put them in like a coffee can or something because they might think that you have like an incendiary device. So
Sure.
I wouldn't do
Okay.
that, but like, you know,
Okay.
put them in a sock maybe.
Just a
I don't know.
baggie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a baggie.
baggie.
Sure. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next episode, you're like, Kelly got arrested for
Teeth in a bag.
teeth in a bag.
I just want to see that on your sheet
My
from
rap
whenever I
sheet?
look you up. Yeah, rap
Yeah.
sheet. Yeah. This is teeth in a bag.
It's
Teeth
just
in a
your
bag.
mugshot.
Your name,
You're
your date of
holding up
birth,
baggie
teeth
of
in a
teeth.
bag.
No, those teeth were for Nay. He specifically requested virgin tea.
That's right. In that they've never put in a turnip before. Not anything
That's
gross.
Okay, I was like, is
Yeah.
it teeth pre-dental work?
Oh,
Like no fillings, no.
This is getting really weird.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
getting.
I know. I'm like, it's a good bit when you're like really excited to go into it, and then you really see the ledge quickly and go like, no, we got to back away.
We're gonna keep going
Oh
over it.
boy.
Yeah.
How far are we gonna go?
So we will hear about the first Mothman festival on the next app. That's gonna be exciting, and in a fortnight, listener. Imagine your wealth here as you exit October and enter November, and a Mothman is going to come into your
Oh,
life.
so spooky. So spooky.
So spooky.
It's wonderful. You'll have a lot to be thankful for on
That's true.
Thanksgiving because a Mothman will have come to you through your AirPods or
Yeah.
other listening device.
And this time he's not a bad omen. It's good. It's a
Good omen.
Yeah. Not all omens are bad.
That's right. Neutral omen.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, look, a thing's gonna happen. What do you want me to do about it? I'm just here to tell you.
Okay, save it for next
Okay.
time. We can't do all the Mothman bits
No,
today.
yeah, we can't use up all this good wilting banter now. Listeners,
Oh,
if you
boy.
like this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe and then rate and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a message in there. Talk to us about ghosts. Have you heard a ghost? Seen a
Ooh.
ghost?
Yeah,
Has a
please do,
ghost told
please
you
do.
something? Has a ghost ever told you something that you were like, I got to do something about that?
Yeah.
Because we would
Mhm.
sincerely like to know. You can also email us, debutbuddies@gmail.com. We would love to hear those stories. We would love to read those stories on the air. I would love for us to have an
Mhm.
episode of just like listener mail.
Yeah.
And that, I mean,
Yeah.
to have such a thing is to casually presume that we have more than one listener. But I think it's possible.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Speaking of one listener, if you miss me and Chelsea, you can find us over on Never Show the Monster, a podcast about horror movies, where we did cover the Mothman prophecies. So you can go listen to that.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
you should. You should also listen to the music of Michael J. O'Connor if you like the music in our show. Go to michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. It's a great place to go. This has been the testimony of ghosts.
Yay!
Listeners, did you know that we're all ghosts? We're just telling you.
Ooh.
We're telling you this podcast for Beyond the Grave.
One day we will be listeners
Oh.
from the future.
It's true.
God, it's
Someday
so
someone's
produced.
going to listen to this podcast and be like, oh, they've been dead for 40 years.
You know, we were having a good time, and now we gotta wrap up the episode on this.
I know. Hey, okay. You know what? Yo-ha.
Yo-ha!
Bye, buddy.
First is best.